Hey folks, it's Julian. I hope you're doing well today. I am standing on Lafayette Square in Buffalo, New York. The square is central to the city. It has the function of processing all the traffic that comes from the east to Niagara Square. Two major thoroughfares merge here, Clinton Street and Broadway. Lafayette Square stands in between the public library on one side and City Hall on the other. It separates knowledge and power like a metaphor for Lafayette's position as a buffer between the universal ideals of the Western Enlightenment and national power. Originally, Buffalo was settled by Seneca Indians under British protection in 1780. In the 1790s, American surveyor Joseph Ellicott was appointed by a group of Dutch investors, the Holland Trade Company, to lay out what would become New Amsterdam. The street names chosen for the original layout reflected the intersection of the Dutch enterprise with the Native American presence. Under the new republic, Buffalo changed, and so did its layout. Dutch and Native American names became more seldom. In adopting names of national significance to demonstrate its allegiance to the Union, Buffalo also removed the reminders of its colonial heritage. Of the 6 original street names honoring the 6 nations of the Iroquois Confederacy, only 2 still exist today, Mohawk and Seneca. On June the 4th, 1825, General Lafayette, a Revolutionary War hero, came to Buffalo. He spent the night here. And today, we're going to tell you about what he did and who he met, as well as how he and his legacy can help a community like Buffalo to celebrate its own identity within the Union and also its colonial heritage. So these are our questions for today. We've got some answers to figure out, so let us waste no time. Let us hit the trail. Let's follow the Frenchman. Historic newspapers like the June 17, 1825 issue of the New York Statesman confirmed that Lafayette was received at a building known as the Eagle Tavern that was owned by a man by the name of Benjamin Rathbun. To confirm the location of the building, you need to go back to the earliest city directory available for Buffalo, which was published in 1828. So let's see if we can track down that document. Come with me, let's go find out. Okay, so we're looking for the 1828 city directory. So these are the older ones, 19th century. 1850, 1828, let's see. The reprint of the 1828 Buffalo city directory is located in the addendum of the 1876 city directory. Okay, so 76 is right here. Yeah, got it. So the book I have right now in front of me is the 1876 city directory for Buffalo, and it has a reprint of the 1828 directory in it. So I'm just gonna open it and I'm gonna look for the 1828 directory. City directory, Buffalo, 1828. And I'm gonna look for Benjamin Rathbun, so the owner of the Eagle Tavern. He should be in here. Okay, here, Rathbun Benjamin, Eagle Tavern, Main Street. So sometimes the city directories came with a map. Yep, here it is. And so let's just open it. So there's a list of buildings. Each of the building listed has a letter. So for the Eagle Tavern, it's the letter N. And if we look for the letter N on the map, it's actually here, and we can see it's at the southwest corner of Court and Main, right across what's now Lafayette Square. So let's just go see what's there today. Let's go take a look. Hey, do you see what's up there? That looks like a Statue of Liberty. Actually, it's probably a copy of it. That's pretty cool. Don't you love the ambiance here? There is like a Statue of Liberty. There's a Lafayette Square. I mean, the ambiance is pretty French here. I mean, who's gonna give me my French flag, you know? So here we are. That's it. We found it. This is the southwest corner of Court and Main, and this is the site of the Eagle Tavern. So it's now the Liberty Building. So that's it. We found the site of the tavern. Emerson, behind you there is the Liberty Building. The Statues of Liberty on top of the building. They were completed in 1925. I mean, I found the timing really interesting because that's 100 years after Lafayette's visit to Buffalo. Do you think there is any connection here? Was it a way for Buffalo to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lafayette's visit?
Well, yeah, I believe it's a centennial, and it's, you know, it's a very good look back on what happened historically, and the connection is that Lafayette was a great hero, and what he brought to Buffalo as a visitor was very interesting.
At the Eagle Tavern, city leaders offered Lafayette words of welcome. They thanked him for his service during the American Revolution, and they used the recent growth that Buffalo was experiencing as evidence of the superior nature of the Republican principles of the United States. Another meeting also took place at the Eagle Tavern between Lafayette and the Seneca leader Red Jacket. The two men had met in 1784 at Fort Stanwix for the negotiations leading to the Treaty of Peace between the American Union and the Six Nations of the Iroquois Confederacy.
Red Jacket was an eloquent orator for the Seneca Nation. He was a great leader, protected our sovereignty as much as he could. This is our homeland, you know, and he fought as much as he could. And he was an eloquent speaker, spoke to General Washington and other dignitaries, and so he was a strong leader for the Seneca Nation.
The meeting between Lafayette and Red Jacket at the Eagle Tavern was highly indicative of the unparalleled level of trust that Lafayette enjoyed with Native American leaders, trust that he had rapidly built after he first arrived to the United States of America in 1777. In March of 1778, Lafayette participated in the Indian Conference in the Mohawk Valley, where United States commissioners were trying to gain more support from the nation of the Iroquois Confederacy in addition to those of the Tuscarora and Oneida nations. That was actually the first time that Lafayette was called Cayula, the Great White Warrior. In 1784, at Fort Stanwix, Lafayette again was called Cayula by the Native Americans. Even James Madison, that was sent there to negotiate in the best interest of the American Union, was forced to acknowledge and recognize that Lafayette was conversing with the Native American leaders from a position of trust that he and the other founding fathers could never reach. So I think it's important to consider the many historical layers that come together here and overlay to produce a very significant moment for the nation. When Lafayette came to Buffalo on June the 4th, 1825, he met with Red Jacket and Captain Pollard. Red Jacket specifically, they had met in 1784, right? Was it friendship? Was it respect that came through in 1825? What was their connection?
I would say it was respect. Red Jacket had asked Lafayette if he was at the Fort Stanwix Treaty in 1784, and Lafayette did ask Red Jacket what happened to the young chief that gave the eloquent speech of burying their hatchet, and Red Jacket's response was, "He is I," So that was, just knowing that they were at the same places at the same time in history, but not really knowing each other, but respecting where they stood.
When you hear the word Lafayette, What do you think of?
Learning about the things that he's done, for the Americans during the Revolutionary War, and then reading about when he came here, he was like a rock star. So that was kind of an interesting thing, when he did that final tour. It was just like he was a rock star everywhere he went.
Lafayette Square is just as important to Buffalo's geography as Lafayette is to the city's history. I think the city of Buffalo did itself a great favor when it picked Lafayette's name for one of its most central squares. The visit of the Frenchmen on June 4th, 1825 gave the city the opportunity to celebrate its own identity within the Union and also its colonial heritage. I think our market today is proof of that legacy. The city of Buffalo, the Seneca Nation of Indians, the William G. Pomeroy Foundation, the New York Daughters of the American Revolution, and the Lafayette Trail were all being brought together by history made 200 years ago by a Frenchman, Lafayette, who always tried to make his decisions based on whether they would help mankind. Lafayette was convinced that the United States was an instrument of progress for the human condition. His word could be trusted, and that was invaluable. The Seneca Nation never forgot Cayula, and they never will. Neither will Buffalo. That's it for us today. I want to thank you for following the Frenchmen to Buffalo. I will see you on the trail very soon. Thank you for watching. À bientôt.